Okay, we are recording. Okay, before we get started with today's class, let me ask, does anybody have any questions in general about life, the universe, how the class runs? Any kind of questions at all? Not seeing anybody asking any questions? Okay, well then we'll go ahead and get started, I guess. So are we going to do any more? Okay. Would you be okay if I use Tinkercad for Minecraft schematics? I'd be okay with this. John wants to know, when will this end? Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, so Danny's asking, are we going to do any more CAD assignments? Yes, we definitely are. We're going to do another one today that's a little bit one step more advanced. And then next time we're going to do something even better. So yeah, we're going to be doing CAD assignments for a while, at least another week. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, let's talk about the daily quiz. All right, so hang on a sec. I got a bunch of things on my screen here. I got to move out of the way. Okay. All right, so I hope you guys agree that last time's quiz was incredibly easy. So what did you have to draw in order to get credit? Well, a traffic light. Oh, by the way, let's talk about that. I noticed that several of you didn't do the assignment yet, and it is now past due. It was due, what, about 3 minutes ago. So guys, I hope you understand that when I give you an assignment, you have to do it on time. I only allow 2 late assignments per term, and some of you have already maxed out your late assignments. So if you get something in late, well, okay, you got 2 times where I will give you full credit for those 2 times, but after that, I can't give you credit for a late assignment anymore. So those of you that haven't been turned in your assignments, I'm not going to name who you are. I don't want to embarrass anybody, but you guys, you're not going to get credit for them. And also, let me mention a few other things. One of you, let's see, I won't mention who you are because I don't want to embarrass anybody. But one of you, the traffic light that you drew, you had the green light on top and the red light on the bottom. I hope you don't have a driver's license. A little bit worried about you. Okay, so let's see. I see some questions popping up. How do you know that you can see our projects? Okay, well, the answer to that is if you logged on to the classroom that I told you using the code that I told you and the username, which for some reason Tinkercad doesn't call it a username, they call it a nickname. But if you logged on the way that I told you to, your project will automatically be saved. You don't have to save it, and I will be able to see that. Okay, so anyway, those of you that did the assignment, I gave you most points for it. The one that got the green light on top and the red light on the bottom, shame on you, but I still gave you credit for it. How one of you, you didn't put all 3 of the lights on there. You drew the box and you put one of the signal lights on there, but you didn't do the other 2. So yeah, I didn't give, so that person, I didn't give you full credit. I only gave you half credit because you clearly did not do the full assignment that I wanted to. And also, one of you, actually a couple of you, you didn't change the name of the assignment. You know how when you first log on, Tinkercad assigns it some whimsical name that doesn't really mean anything. What I wanted you guys to do was to click on the name and change it to a meaningful name. The name I asked for was CAD assignment number 1. But I mean, if you named it anything similar to that, I gave you credit. So don't forget to change the name to a meaningful name. Don't use that whimsical name. Okay. All right. So in answer to your question, how do you know whether I can see your projects? So if you logged on to my Tinkercad classroom, and by the way, this was the code that you needed to use in order to get into it. Okay, then you're in the right place, and then I'll be able to see them. Okay, so hang on a second. I can hear somebody's microphone is on. So let me mute everybody here. Hang on a sec while I mute everybody. Okay, all right. Okay, good. Because sometimes if you leave your microphone on, I get some weird feedback here. Okay, so how do you select multiple objects at the same time in Tinkercad? Okay, well, you click on one and then you hold down the shift key and you click on the others. Now, there actually is another way that you can do it. Anybody want to suggest another way that you can select multiple objects at the same time? I'm going to sit back and wait. Let's see somebody type in. I'm sure somebody knows the answer to this. What's a second way? What's another way that you can select multiple objects? Don't you just hold what? The click button. And okay, you're on the right track. And then what do you do after that? Because you got to do a little bit more. You're not going to finish typing it there? Oh, okay. And choose the objects you want. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that. So tell you what, let me go here and okay. All right. So this right here, what you're seeing is an object that I'm going to be talking about in just a few minutes. But let's modify this. Let's say that I bring in a couple more objects. Let's bring in an object like this. Okay. And bring in another object. I don't know, let's maybe bring in a roof type object. Okay, and let me scan back here. Okay, so I have a heart, a ring shape and a thing. Okay, so one way that I could click, I could select multiple objects is I could click on this one. I could hold down the shift key, click on this one, hold down the shift key, click on that one. Okay, so I selected multiple objects. But there is another way. The other way is just come up here, click here and hold down the click key, like Danny was suggesting, and then drag. Okay, so if I drag it, okay, and then when I let go, it has selected all three of those objects. Okay, so that's another way to do it. Okay, let me go back to my original thing here. Let's see. Oh, how did that get over there? Okay. All right, hang on a sec while I my computer is doing a funny thing. Okay. All right. And how do you change the viewing angle in CAD, in Tinkercad? Okay. All right. So both of the options that I've listed there, they will both work. So you can right click on the drawing and you drag around, or you can click on the left square up there. So again, let me switch back to the other screen here. Let's go back to this screen. Okay, so let's say that I want to change the viewing angle. So I have a mouse here, and I'm gonna right click it, and then I'm gonna drag it around. So you guys can see that as I do that, I can change the viewing angle to whatever I want. So I'm right clicking and I'm dragging it around. Now my mouse has a wheel on it. So if I go this way, I can zoom out. If I go this way, I can zoom in. Okay. Now the object that it zoomed in on was the heart. What if I didn't want to zoom in on the heart? What if I wanted to zoom in on the roof structure? Anybody know a way that I can get the screen to center it on the roof structure rather than on the heart? Anybody got? I'm going to wait a sec, give you a sec to type something in. So let me zoom back a little bit. Okay, so this green roof structure that you see here, let's suppose that I want to put that in the center of the screen so that if I zoom in, then that is what I'll zoom in on. Anybody have any suggestions how I can do that? I'm not seeing any suggestions. Okay, so then what I'll do is I'll tell you. Okay, so I'm going to click on the roof thing. So I clicked on the green roof. And over here, you guys see these controls over on this side. And so there's this one that's got the dotted rectangle. And when I hover over it, it says fit to view. Okay, so when I click on that, you see that? Okay, so what it did was it zoomed in on just the green roof structure. So now when I zoom in, zoom out, the green roof structure is what I zoom on. Same thing with this kind of a cylinder up here. If I want that to be the center of the screen, I click on that and bingo, we're good. Okay. Now there is one other way that we can move around here that's kind of nice. If I hold down the shift key and I right click, I can drag it around any way that I want to drag it around. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm holding down the shift key and I've right clicked and I'm dragging around. Okay, so everybody good with that? Any questions about what we've done there? Okay, not seeing any questions, so we'll move on there. Okay, all right, Danny says no, glad to hear that. Okay, all right, so part one of your homework was to go through all 7 of these starter lessons that you see on your screen right here. I trust that everybody did that. Those lessons were pretty simple. In fact, some people complained that they were too simple, and rightly so. They didn't give a lot of detail. They didn't give a lot of instructions. Okay, so I sent you a link to a more detailed set of lessons that cover the same material, but they give a lot more detail. Okay, so if you now I sent you a link, so the link took you right there. But if you don't want to use the link, if you want to know another way to get to it, okay. So if you go to the main Tinkercad desktop, and up here at the top you see there's a thing here that says Learn. Okay, so if you click on the Learn, it takes you to this screen that hopefully you guys all remember seeing. And so last time we did the starters here, but over here you see projects. So if you click on projects, it takes you to a screen that looks like this. So this project right here, the one that says, Let's Learn Tinkercad, that is the one that I sent you the link to. Okay, so if you click on that, then it gives you a set of lessons that are basically the same lessons, but they give a whole lot more detail about how to do them. And if you click on CL projects, you'll see that there's a whole lot more projects besides just that. So before I go on, did any of you go into the Let's Learn Tinkercad and explore the lessons where they cover the same material, but basically in more detail? Did any of you do that? So let me see some yeses or nos. Okay, so Dan did a little bit. Danny did not. It looks like most of you are saying no, that you didn't. So if you have any troubles learning Tinkercad, go back into these lessons right here, the ones that say Let's Learn Tinkercad. They give you a lot more detail about how Tinkercad works. But if you're happy with the simplified lessons we did last time, then hey, that's fine. You're good with that. All right. And then the second part of the homework was this one, which we've already talked about. Most of you did a good job on that, but not all of you. Okay, and some of you didn't do it at all, so shame on you, finger wag on you. So if you have not yet used up your 2 late passes, then you can still do this assignment. I will give you full credit, but only on 2 late ones. Once you've turned in 2 late assignments, you don't get any more credit after that for late assignments. So you guys get your work in on time, okay? All right, so tonight's homework is to do something a little bit more sophisticated. So you see this candy box with the chocolates inside of it. This is something that I created. I'm not asking you guys to copy what I did, but something that's a little bit more sophisticated. So let me go back. I'm going to change my sharing here back to this one right here. Okay. So the screen that we were looking at before here. So let me get rid of these guys. So the green screen, the green thing, I'm going to get rid of that. By the way, if you ever want to get rid of something, just click on it and then hit either the delete key or the backspace key, and that'll get rid of it. So now I'm going to click on my heart here, and I'm going to come over to my shape here. So I want to center it on that. Okay. So you guys can see, so I can change the viewing angle to whatever I want, move it around to whatever I want. Okay, so if you look at my heart shape, if you zoom in, you may notice that there's a little line down on the bottom here. You guys see that line down there? So you may not have even noticed that. Let me zoom back on it. Okay, so what I did, and I did this last night, and I did it from scratch. So, okay, I'm going to click on it, okay, and then you see this black arrow right here, okay, the black, the teardrop type thing. That's something that allows you to move the thing up and down. So if I click on that and I pull it up, now you guys can see that it's a lot more than just a heart. It's actually a heart-shaped chocolate box. Okay, so John is saying that was blurst. Okay, good. I don't know what blurst means, but all right. Okay, so this thing that I created last night is actually a box of chocolates. And you guys can see here, I can zoom in on it from different angles. And I've got different types of chocolates inside there. Okay, and this is something that I created from scratch. And it's similar to what I want you guys to do tonight for your homework. Okay, the traffic light, that was too simple. Okay, so what I've done here, and I can show you in a minute how I did it, but before I do that, let me just zoom back here. So I created a box. So the lower part of the box is hollow, has some room for the chocolates. The upper side of the box here, let's take a look at that. Let me get that centered. Okay, now if I change my viewing angle, there's a little bit of a lag I see here. There, you guys, so now I'm looking at the lid of the box from underneath. So you can see again, this is not a solid heart. It's a heart that has an opening in it. Okay, so let's come back here. Let's re-zoom in on the lower part of the box now. Okay, all right, so the lower part of the box you can see is a heart that is hollow, but it's also got a little lip down here. The lip is important because when I want to close the lid here, I want the lid to fit on there. Can you guys see? Okay, as I move the lid down, it shows me how high it is. Okay. All right, so now the candy box is closed, and you see how the lid fits on top of the lid there. Okay. So, all right, so Aaron wants to know if I'm recording. I certainly hope I'm recording. Let me check. I'm glad you see. Yeah, it shows I'm recording, so we're good. So everything that I'm doing right now, you can go back and watch the recording. Okay, so let me show you a few ways of how I did that. Let me move this over here, okay? So your assignment tonight is to make something like this that has at least 3 different pieces, and the pieces have to fit together in a certain way. I don't want you to copy what I did. I want you to use your own creativity, come up with something of your own making, but it has to have at least 3 pieces, and the pieces need to fit together, very similar to what I've done right here. So let me show you just really quickly how I did mine. Okay, so you guys, you see these basic shapes here? In your assignment tonight, you need to use the basic shapes. That's an important part. Some of you who are more advanced, you probably know that it's possible to import shapes, that complex shapes that other people have created. And I don't want you to do that tonight. Actually, next time we meet, we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to learn how to import complicated shapes that somebody else has already made, but not for tonight. For tonight, you have to use the basic shapes. And so if you scroll down here, you can see that there are a whole lot of other basic shapes that we could use. Hang on just a second here. I need to move this. Okay, so if the video window is blocking what I'm seeing, guys, move the video window. If you click on the video window up at the top and move it, you can drag it out of the way. Okay, so can you guys see the basic shapes that I've got over here? Okay, so you can see there. So right now I've got a pyramid, a wedge, polygon. You can see right here, a heart is in fact one of the basic shapes that you could use. But I didn't do it that way. I did it just for grins. I created my heart using a box and a cylinder. And so I want to show you, how I did that. But before I do that, let me just catch up on comments here. So Brian is saying that he regrets wearing headphones. I'm not sure why you would regret that. Let's see, are there any other comments here that I've missed? No, I think I'm up to date on the comments there. My mic glitched out. Oh, okay, you talking to me? Did my mic glitched out? My voice was buzzing. How is it now? Is my voice okay now? It's normal now? Okay, good. All right, sorry about the glitches. I don't know what to tell you there. Now, I actually do have a headset, but the trouble is if I plug in the headset, I can't use my mouse at the same time. So, and I need my mouse to do this. So sorry about that. Gamer, yes. Okay, so anyway, so let me show you how I created the heart here. So let me zoom out a little bit there. So what I did was I took the box and I dragged it into here. Okay, and then this little thing pops up here that I don't really need. Okay, so then I took a cylinder and I dragged the cylinder into here. Okay, so you guys all see how that works. Now look what I'm going to do with my cylinder. I'm going to connect it up here. So the cylinder is connected now with the box. Let me change my viewing angle here. Okay, so I'm going to center it on that. And I'm going to now come down here like that. Okay, all right, so you guys see what I've done here? So I've got the cylinder and the box together like that. Now I'm going to bring in another cylinder. Okay, so here comes the other cylinder. And I'm going to bring the other cylinder in like that. Let me zoom back a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to bring the cylinder in so it fits in like that. Okay, all right. So hang on a second here. Yeah, there's a lot of lag. I agree that the lag is pretty bad there. All right, so now I've got a box and I've got two cylinders. And now I want to select all three of them. So I'm gonna click, I'm gonna drag, and oh, you see what happened there? I got the original heart. I didn't want the original heart. Okay, so let's do this a little differently here. Let's see if I can come over here. So I'm going to click and drag, and let's see. Okay, I don't want to mess my original heart there. So tell you what, let's do it the other way. Okay, so I clicked on the box, I clicked on the cylinder, and now I clicked on the other cylinder. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to group them together. So you guys see right here, this thing here that when I hover over it, it says group. Okay, so I'm going to click on there. So I've grouped them together, and notice it now colors them all the same. And the default in this case just happens to be red, which is coincidentally the right color I wanted. But you guys know, of course, that I can make the heart be any color that I want. So let's make this guy be a blue heart. Okay, so I have now created a heart from scratch. Okay, now it's a very tall heart, probably taller than I want. Okay, so if I click on it, you get the little arrows here, so you guys know how you can change the height to whatever you want. Also notice that the numbers appear, that they tell you how high it is. And so let's say that I don't want it to be 36 millimeters high. Let's say I want it to be 24 24 millimeters high. So I can just click on that box there and hit enter, and it automatically makes it be 24 millimeters high. I can lift it up above the plane if I want. I can bring it back down again. Okay. And this number that you see right here, okay, that tells me how high above the working plane I am. Okay, so I'm going to bring it back down. I'm going to put it right on the working plane. Okay, so now what if I want to make it be a hollow heart? Okay, somebody suggest to me, so this was not something that you did in your homework last night, but I'm sure that some of you know. Let's say that I want to make it be a heart-shaped box. How can I make the center portion of my heart be hollow? I'm going to sit back and wait. Somebody either type in, or you guys know you can turn on your video, or video, yes, and also audio. You guys know if you hold down the shift key, it'll temporarily turn on your microphone so you can talk to the rest of us. Okay, so Dan's is saying make another heart and turn it into a hole. So very good, Dan's, you got it exactly right. Okay, so rather than create a new heart from scratch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my original heart and I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, so there's two ways I could do that. One is I could do copy and paste, and then the other way is there's a duplicate command. But you guys see over here, hang on a sec, I've got too many windows open. Let me move some of my windows around. My windows are blocking. Okay. So if any of your windows are blocking things, move it down. Okay, so can you guys see? So this thing that I'm hovering over right now, that's paste. Okay, what I'm hovering over right now, that's copy. And what I'm hovering over right now, that's duplicate. And notice the keyboard shortcuts. So the keyboard shortcut for duplicate is Control D. The keyboard shortcut for copy is Control C. So that works very like you guys are used to in Microsoft Word. Okay, so I want to duplicate that. So I'm going to come over here and duplicate it. Okay, so it may not look like it, but it's been duplicated. If I drag it over here, you can see, yep, in fact, there are in fact two of them. Okay. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make it be a little bit smaller. So if I come down to this square here, I can make it be smaller. Okay. And I can change it. So this thing right here, again, I got a window blocking me here. Hang on for a second here. Okay. All right, so if I come right here, you guys see I'm hovering over the thing hole. Okay, so if I click on this, it now becomes a heart-shaped hole, which if I then click on here and I drag it back into there, okay, all right, so now I have a heart-shaped hole inside of my heart, but it doesn't look like a hole yet, okay? It's not going to look right until I've selected the hole, and also now I'm holding down the shift key and I'm clicking on the outer one. So now I've got both the hole and the outer one selected. And now if I come up here, you guys see I'm hovering over group. So now when I click on group, okay, now there we go. Now I have a heart with a heart-shaped hole inside of it. You guys see how that works? Okay, so Mason is suggesting that if I hold shift as I scale, it scales proportionally. Good, very good hint. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes. Okay, so if you hold shift at the same time that you're resizing something, it'll size it proportionally, because otherwise it might be a little bit elongated one way or the other. Okay, so good input. Okay, so I have a heart-shaped hole. Okay, so now, anybody see a problem here? If I were to put candy into my heart-shaped box, what's going to happen to the candy? Anybody got any ideas here? I've got a serious problem with my heart-shaped box. Is it going to touch the corona ground? Well, yeah, okay. But how about if I do this? I'm going to click on this and I'm going to lift it up above the ground now. Okay, so now do you see the problem with my heart-shaped box? Yeah, Aaron's exactly right, or Van, I guess. Yeah, and John's got it too. Okay, yeah, if I put the candy in the box here, the candy is just going to fall right through. That's going to be bad. Okay. All right. So tell you what, let's put the box back down on the work plane. Not that I have to, but I find it a little easier to. Okay. So what I need to do now in order to prevent that. So let's go back to this and I want to ungroup it. So right now I'm hovering over the thing that says ungroup. Okay. So I'm going to ungroup it. And so I click over here to unselect everything. Now I've clicked on here. Now this time it's not obvious I'm looking at it, but I'm only clicking on the hole this time. So what I'm going to do this time is going to take the hole and I'm going to lift. Oops, it looks like it clicked on the wrong thing. I got the box there. I wanted the hole. Okay, so tell you what, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to undo that. By the way, this undo command is really nice. Okay, so I want to click on just the hole and not the box. Okay, all right, this time I got the hole and not the box. Okay, so now let's lift the hole up above the ground. Can you see how the hole has now been lifted up? Okay, so now when I hold shift and I now click on the outer box, now I'm going to regroup everything. Okay, so now you see my problem has been fixed. So now the hole does not extend all the way through. If I look at it from the bottom here, you can see that I've actually got a bottom on my box now. So now I can put candy inside my box and it won't fall through. Okay. All right. Now, how did I create my candy? Okay. So let me move over here so I have a little more new space here. Let me show you how I created my candy. So what I did was I just took a regular old box and I dragged it into here. Okay, and let me change it here. Notice that when you create a box, it opens up this window here with these options that some of you may not have played with. This option up on top here that says radius, look what happens to the box when I play with that. I can take that box and I can change it all the way into being a circle by changing the radius of curvature. So I'm going to put it somewhere in between here. Okay, so what it does now is takes the box and it rounds off the corners. So if I want to go extreme, I can round them all the way to where it's no longer a box anymore. Now it's a circle. But if I come back here, so now it's a box with rounded corners. Okay. Now go ahead and play with these other things. You see the steps here? You know, I can, if I put it like here, you can see it goes in one step. So yeah. So if I wanted to, if I bring it all the way here, it's perfectly rounded. So over here, it's perfectly rounded. Come back over here, and it's less so. Okay. All right. Length here, you can change the you can change the length of the box this way, or you can click on these handles down here. Width, you can change those. Okay. So I find it's easier to click on these handles here and change them this way. But you can do it any way you want. Okay, so now I've made myself a, let me get rid of this shape here. I don't like that. Now it's easier to see. Okay, so I've made myself a piece of chocolate, except it's red chocolate. I like chocolate to be brown. In fact, I like dark chocolate myself. Let's see, let's click on this one right here. Let's make it be dark chocolate. Okay, so now I've got a piece of dark chocolate to go in my box. Okay, so how do I get it in the box? Okay, well, I've clicked on it, and what I can do now is I can just drag it. Now this is kind of interesting. See, look at this. I'm dragging it right through the wall of my box here. So if I leave it like that, so let me come here and let me center in on that. Okay, so my box is halfway in, or my piece of chocolate is halfway in the box here. So let me bring it the rest of the way in, and let me change my viewing angle here. Okay, so now it's inside the box, but it's actually it's fused with the bottom of my chocolate box here. So let's lift it up a little bit here. Okay, and also it's a little bit bigger than I'd like. Let's size it down. Okay, so bingo, I've got a piece of chocolate inside my box now, right? Okay, so you guys see how I did it. Now let's come over here and let's focus on the actual candy box. And I'm lifting it up here. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Okay. So I'm sure you guys can figure out how I made the lid here. That one, the lid is actually easier. Okay. All right. So the lid was really very easy to make. Well, so we don't need to talk about that. Okay. So any questions about what I just did there? I think it's all pretty self-evident, but okay, so no questions from David. Okay, John. All right, good. Okay, so your homework tonight is basically just play with Tinkercad and create something of your own. Let me come back here to the, okay. All right, so I'm back into my PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so your homework tonight is to draw something in Tinkercad more sophisticated than we did last night. Okay. Please don't copy what I did. Come up with your own creation. If you want to do a box with something in it, that's okay. But you have to have two things to fit together. So if you draw a box, make sure that you draw a lid where the lid fits on the box, similar to what I've done right here. So whatever you draw, it must have at least three pieces, three different parts, okay? And the parts need to fit together. And another important part of the requirement is that everything that you draw needs to have been drawn using Tinkercad's basic shapes. You are not allowed to import any complicated drawings that anybody else has drawn. Now, next time we meet, we are going to learn how to import complicated drawings. It turns out it's really easy, but that's not today, that's next time. So for today, everything that you do has to be just with the basic shapes only, no imported drawings allowed. Okay? So the basic shapes are the ones that you see over here. Okay? And remember that it's not just these 6 that you see here. You can scroll down and there's actually quite a few basic shapes. You don't have to stick with just these 6, okay? But go ahead and make something there. And I will give you bonus points if you can make me say, wow. If you can do something that is so cool that I look at and say, wow, I'll give you a couple of bonus points. So it's possible instead of getting 10 points on tonight's homework, I might give you 12, okay? But you got to make me say, wow. So use your creativity, come up with something of your own design, something fairly complex. So David is saying, turns out it's really easy. Yes, it is. Tinkercad is wonderful. So those of you that know SolidWorks, you guys know that SolidWorks is a better program. It can do a lot more. But as I said last time, because SolidWorks can do so much, it's more difficult to learn SolidWorks. Whereas Tinkercad here is incredibly easy to learn. And as you can see, you can do some really good stuff with Tinkercad. I mean, for 99% of the people in the world, Tinkercad can do everything that you're ever going to need. It's really only the professionals that need SolidWorks. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I have nothing else for you other than don't forget to take the daily quiz. Oh yes, secret word. Okay, thank you for reminding me. Yes, we do need a secret word. Or how about a secret object? Okay, instead of doing a secret word this time, let's do something different. Let's see if I have, okay, so I have an object here. Okay, anybody recognize what this is? Okay. What is this secret object that you see right here? A seashell, yes, very good. Okay, so you guys may know that I spend a lot of time on the ocean and I go to a lot of beautiful tropical islands, and I've found some really, really cool seashells. So this is one of my favorite seashells. So that is going to be the secret object for today. It's seashell, okay? Shell, yes. Cronk. Are you thinking perhaps conch? There is a type of seashell called a conch. This is not a conch, but similar. But so anyway, just seashell, just remember that. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to end the class here. We still have a lot of time remaining in today's session, so use that time to draw something, and you remember you don't need to save it. Tinkercad will automatically save it, and as long as you draw it inside of the classroom that I have given you, then I will automatically be able to see it. So no, it's supposed to be a meme. Stonks but conk. Okay, I don't understand what you're saying there, Brian, but I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so any questions before I end the recording and stop the class? What do you want us to name it? Ah, thank you. Good question. Okay, so I want you to name it CAD Assignment 2. So what we did last time was CAD Assignment 1. This time is CAD Assignment 2. Okay, any other questions? Going once. No questions yet. Going twice. Oh, I see something. Sold. Yes, you are right. Okay, so I'm